Greetings from California, where it's really wet and snowy some places even kind of nearby. So, are we in the end times? Are 15-minute cities part of the end times? So, I put in the title for the show. I thought I'd do some research. What the hell? Thought I'd do some research on 15-minute cities because I hear it's the biggest conspiracy theory of 2023. That's what they say. And I was like, oh, there's all these headlines that say 15-minute cities, biggest conspiracy theory of 2023. I was like, oh my God, I'm really slacking because I'm a conspiracy theorist. I thought I talked about all the conspiracy theories. And I haven't really talked about 15-minute cities. I think I played one clip of somebody in England talking about how they were zoning stuff, trying to keep people trapped like mice in a cage. So I'll tell you about it. Like, is it a conspiracy theory? They're saying it's just a conspiracy theory. Or like we need to debunk the conspiracy theory. 15-minute cities are fine. It's just planning. It's no big deal. So is it a big deal? I wanted to do some research. So I read the articles and I read this manifesto that's, Wikipedia says the manifesto informs the conversation about 15-minute cities. The manifesto's got some crazy communist stuff in it. So is it ushering in a new form of communism or socialism, like some claim? That's a conspiracy theory, apparently. But I'll tell you. So we'll go over like what the documents say. So that way we've covered it. We want to make sure to cover every conspiracy theory. Another one, I have some material. As long as we're talking about conspiracy theories. The lab leak theory about COVID was a conspiracy theory. Now it keeps getting confirmed. More places keep saying it. So it's not the first time, but now the Department of Energy says, oh yeah, it came from a lab. Probably. They say probably. But even though, and back in the day, Zero Hedge, I think, they got a lot of trouble for talking about the lab and the bat lady at the lab who worked on the bat viruses at the lab. And I talked about it because I was talking about COVID really early before anybody. I talked about how, oh yeah, there's this lab in Wuhan, China. And it turned out the lab deals with the kind of viruses that this one was. If you believe in viruses. If you believe in viruses, do you believe in magic? Are those things related? I can't tell you. No, I think they're real. I think it came from a lab. I said it did. I didn't get censored for saying it because I wasn't on YouTube at the time. But if I had been on YouTube, I don't know if they censored people. Facebook did. And people are still trying to cover it up. People are still trying to say, even though the Department of Energy came out and said, even though it's like, that's what makes sense. It's not even a conspiracy theory. It's like, oh, there's a lab. Oh, COVID, this thing that looks like a bat coronavirus came out of Wuhan. Oh, and in Wuhan, that's where they have this lab that they don't have anywhere else in China. In Wuhan, really? Oh, and really, they work on bat coronaviruses? Oh, okay, really? Then you think, oh, duh, or most likely culprit, Occam's razor. But no, they said it's racist. And the Chinese government might have covered it up. So, and U.S. politicians might have covered it up. Dr. Fauci definitely tried to cover it up. So I have some material about it. I can show you how they're faking AI, how they're faking people's voices with AI. I can show you an update on that. And somebody retired from the NFL said don't take their injections. Scott Adams is in the news. Ron DeSantis is about to run for president. His book came out today. Okay, and I just have a few clips. I'll just go through the news. Okay, it'll be cool. If you want to support the show, I'll tell you after the intro. We'll play the intro first. Okay, cue musical intro. Boy, that's brilliant. I do think some things in the world are real. Like you guys. You guys are real. Most of you. Most of my listeners, I think, are not just in my head. I think I have the metrics to prove it. You've taken a leap of faith today. What is that sound? And I apologize if you take offense. I'm a little offended myself. Welcome to our show. Welcome to the future. What it is, joining you live from sunny California. It's a beautiful day today. I'm your host, Nathan Stoltman. And I bring you the news, the real news. Yes. Yes. I chose what I decided was the most trending conspiracy theory on the internet, the 15-minute city, just to make sure you know about it. Because we want to make sure our listeners are informed. And for your entertainment, you can tip. We have a way to do that. YouTube has a way through super chats. And if you want to do it the smart way, where they don't take 30%, you can go to buymeacoffee.com/lifttheveil and leave a coffee or more and a note, and then I'll read it on the show. I check near the end of the show, and you can ask questions or what have you. And or you can become a member there, and you can get a free t-shirt if you email me or contact me directly on Twitter after you become a member. So that's at buymeacoffee.com/lifttheveil. And then we have t-shirts and hoodies like this one at truthclothing.io. There's a link for that in the description. Is everybody hanging in okay? I have to pin this. Someone needs to be fake Nate's voice and call in. Okay, since somebody says that in the chat. Yeah, I could be duplicated. I've already said that. I definitely can be because I've been on TV too much or, on this thing, like too much. I've fed too much data to the system. So they could impersonate my voice, certainly, like they've done now to Joe Rogan and Elon Musk and Donald Trump and Joe Biden. So I'll play you an example of that just because I was paying attention to the chat. Someone needs to fake Nate's voice and call in. Well, people could do that. It's like, it is definitely possible right now to be able to impersonate my voice for sure, because I've talked enough. They could definitely get enough data on me, more than a normal person. And then they could use that to impersonate me. So this is a video of audio of Joe Biden, Barack Obama, and Donald Trump. And I think there are apps or there are things, I think you maybe have to pay for these services that do this. But I'll play it for you so you can see what it's like. They could definitely, so deep fake audio is pretty close to hard to distinguish from real audio. Deepfake video isn't really that close yet. It isn't really that close yet. You can definitely tell when something's a deepfake still. It's really hard to fake video 100%. Maybe the people in Hollywood have stuff that's really advanced where you could really deep fake where it really looks real. but people don't have access to that technology yet. But voices, and just think of the potential for prank phone calls. I mean, you can just think of the potential. For example, Howard Stern, well, and Jimmy Dore does this too. He has a guy that calls into his show and does impressions of people, and there are people who do impressions. And Howard Stern used to have a guy who sounded like Dave Letterman. They called him Evil Dave Letterman. He just happened to sound exactly right like him. So they would write him a script for him to talk like Dave Letterman. Well, theoretically, you could do that with AI now. So you could write a script, and then he'd do prank phone calls with clips of Arnold Schwarzenegger saying lines from his movies. But now you could write a script for Arnold Schwarzenegger. And then finally in the future, it'll get to where they can do it with video too. And then it's going to be important that you be able to like own your likeness, because people would want to create content with my style. But as long as I get paid, that's cool. They can have me talk about whatever. It'd be weird. It will be weird though. It will happen. It'll take a little while. To do video will take a little while. To do audio though, this is where we're at with audio. I'll play this.
Bag me in the base or not?
Give me a fucking second. I'm crafting a bag.
Me and Donald were up all night grinding, and we managed to grub a guy with an AK.
Good job, guys. I will go roaming when I've spawned in.
Okay, but make sure you use a Tommy.
I'm gonna need to tax this road sign kit so I don't get rads at water treatment.
Okay, just be careful.
Ah, shit, I'm dead to some fuck with an Ioka. Little shit was camped in a corner.
Where the fuck is the AK? I need to research it.
Oh, I took that out with me to roam with.
You lost our only AK to a guy with an Ioka?
Are you fucking stupid? Did you not hear me say take a Tommy? You've got dementia, you old fuck.
You did not say take a Tommy.
Yeah, I fucking did. Me and Obama were up grinding all night for you to join midway through and lose our guns.
I must have not heard you, homie. It's not that deep.
Not that deep? That's easy for you to say. You got a fucking full night's sleep, Sleepy Joe.
You always do this, Joe, and quite frankly, it's getting on my nerves. We do the hard work so you can lose at every wipe.
You're both stupid. I didn't want to play anyway, so I'ma just go.
So you lose our fucking AK and leave? Thanks, homie.
Fuck you, Joe. You ain't joining next wipe.
You said that last wipe and the wipe before.
There. I think that was video game talk. I think they were doing gamer talk. Like there were three gamers talking to each other. And it was Barack Hussein Obama, Donald J. Trump, and Joseph R. Biden, all talking to each other like they're a bunch of gamers playing, I don't know what, GTA, Grand Theft Auto 5. So that's what they were doing together. What do you think? It's pretty good. I thought the Trump one was really good. Yeah, so that's one advance with AI. That's where they're at. So they can impersonate people pretty much, so that you could call that deep fake for sure, because you can just write a script for it. So I'd like to get my hands on that technology. It has a lot of potential for comedy and stuff. Just having people, getting famous people to say things that they wouldn't say. I think Defango, or the people associated with Defango, have used that technology to get like Elon Musk saying something about the grift cast that he never actually said. And it sounded just like him when I heard it. So that technology is pretty advanced. So once you have something that can impersonate me, let me know, because I'd like to use it. I'm looking forward to the time when I can just write a script and I don't have to, do the performance every time. You know what I mean? Because there's so much pressure. I'm looking forward to the AI. I embrace the AI. And 15-minute cities. So this is why we're talking about 15-minute cities today. Why is that in the title? Well, it's because of this. This is an article that's in The Conversation. 15-minute cities, how to separate the reality from the conspiracy theory. All of these say that 15-minute cities are not bad and are not communist utopias. Let's share this tab. Tackling the 15-minute cities conspiracy means fixing inequality. So this has to do with 15-minute conspiracies. These are all recent articles. Here's this tab. This is from CNN. How 15-minute cities turned into an international conspiracy theory. International conspiracy theory. So I'll show you what it is. And they say it's a conspiracy theory. Remember what they said about the virus? Speaking of conspiracy theories, I might mix up the show a little bit. And then Bloomberg felt compelled to write an article, an opinion piece that says no, 15-minute cities aren't a threat to civil liberties. A sensible approach to urban planning has been hijacked by conspiracy theorists. So let me play a clip of, this is what they call conspiracy theory. They called the lab leak a conspiracy theory.
Biden officials now believe COVID lab leak theory.
A lab leak or a mistake, that was never discarded.
Ready, Ted? Ready, Bill? Let's go back into history.
Fauci dismisses lab as source of virus. Ignore the conspiracy theories.
The conspiracy that coronavirus was man-made in a lab in Wuhan, China.
There is no reason to believe any of these conspiracy theories that it was leaked from the lab.
A theory that's almost certainly not true.
A conspiracy theory that the coronavirus originated inside a lab in China.
Like it was a conspiracy of some kind.
Lab wasn't source of virus. You can draw a line through it and say that it didn't happen. We know it didn't.
The Wuhan lab conspiracy theory.
Debunk conspiracy theory.
The fringe theory that the virus came from a lab in Wuhan, China.
Scientists debunk lab theory.
The conspiracy theory about COVID coming from a lab in Wuhan.
Oh my God, coronavirus came from Wuhan.
A conspiracy theory.
Outright ridiculous conspiracy theories.
Debunked bunkum.
Scientists know. Experts have more than enough evidence to show. Pants on fire. Lab conspiracy theories debunked. Put it in the conspiracy theory bucket.
One of the biggest crises out there now is the false information being circulated on social media about the virus. But the virus happened when our regular coronavirus married this other virus, made children, and then the rest is history. And I can tell you for sure it was not manufactured in a lab.
Lab leak conspiracy theory.
The conspiracy theory to foment xenophobia.
Very destructive conspiracy theory. Conspiracists pushing misinformation. Conspiracy theories.
That flurry of conspiracy theories.
Prejudiced lab conspiracy theories.
These conspiracy theories damage our real world.
We don't need to invoke conspiracy theories.
The theory is bunk.
The idea that this escaped from the lab is pure baloney.
Complete baloney.
Widely debunked.
Conspiracy theories run rampant.
Conspiracy theories that it somehow escaped the lab that was in Wuhan. I think that's unlikely.
Scientists rule out the idea.
Scientists condemning conspiracy theories.
This conspiracy theory that the coronavirus originated in a lab.
Conspiracy theories on the origins of the virus in the Wuhan lab, which of course are unfounded.
A conspiracy theory that the coronavirus came from a lab.
It's another false claim.
The Wuhan, China lab at the center of conspiracy theories.
At the center of conspiracy theories.
The target of conspiracy theories.
The focus of conspiracies.
The lab in Wuhan.
All right, there you go. That's like a 9-minute video full of people saying that the lab leak was a conspiracy theory. And that's from Matt Orfalea. I'll make sure to shout out. That's from Matt Orfalea. That's how you spell his name. He's on YouTube and Twitter. I've played some of his videos before. He's some kind of autist. He digs through, gets video clips, mashes them together, works with Matt Taibbi. So that's what they said about the lab leak, was that it was a conspiracy theory. Now they're saying about 15-minute cities that's a conspiracy theory, a global conspiracy theory. They say it's just city planning. They say I'll read what it says about it on Wikipedia, which is going to be mainstream, right? People say they're getting attacked because they did a traffic filtering trial run in Oxford, where I think you had to pay extra to go further from your house, right? Because they want to reduce congestion, they say. But really, they want to reduce carbon dioxide. That's part of the objective. They kind of pretend it's not. And that it's like car enthusiasts, troglodytes that are, and conspiracy theorists and like COVID vaccine skeptics that are all attacking people over these 15-minute cities where they're trying to charge people extra. I mean, they haven't even done that much. And apparently it's been going on like in Paris, some kind of 15-minute city, but I don't even know what you say. Manhattan probably is a 15-minute city. Anywhere where there's a ton of people, you often have services available closer because there's enough people to justify the businesses being there. But this is a type of central planning, and I'll show you the manifesto that I got to from the Wikipedia page. But I'm open-minded. Some things are conspiracy theories, and maybe there's nothing wrong with 15-minute cities. I'm open-minded. I approached it in an open-minded way. Maybe there's nothing wrong with 15-minute cities. It sounds great, having everything you need within 15 minutes. But first of all, what does it mean? Here's what it says. The 15-minute city, which has an abbreviation, FMC, is an urban planning concept in which most daily necessities and services, such as work, shopping, education, healthcare, and leisure, can be easily reached by a 15-minute walk or bike ride from any point in the city. So what they say, first of all, it's right away it's confusing because they say 15-minute walk or bike ride. Well, you go a lot further on a bike, like way, way, way faster than walking. So which one is it? It's either a 15-minute walk or a 15-minute bike ride, because you don't have to say walk. If so it's a 15-minute bike ride. Okay, they should just say that, because they're much different things. First of all, so that's my first objection to it. They say implementing the 15-minute city concept requires a multidisciplinary approach involving transportation planning, urban design, and policymaking to create well-designed public spaces, pedestrian-friendly streets, and mixed-use developments. This change in lifestyle may include remote working, which reduces daily commuting, and is supported by the recent widespread availability of information and communications technology. The concept has been described as a return to a local way of life. And they want you to walk more, so it sounds nice. And it sounds nice. You get to walk more. There's not as many cars around. Everything's closer. So how do they implement it exactly? And what does it mean exactly? Well, that's where it gets into trouble. They mention in this Wikipedia article about the 15-minute cities. Oh, shit. I'm not showing it. A manifesto published in Barcelona in April 2020 proposed radical change in the organization of cities in the wake of COVID-19. They even mention it here. In July 2020, the C40 Cities Climate Leadership Group published a framework for cities to build back better using the 15-minute concept, referring specifically to plans implemented in Milan, Madrid, Edinburgh, and Seattle after the COVID-19 outbreaks. So remember, they did Build Back Better and the Great Reset, all related to COVID-19. And that was supposedly a conspiracy theory. Well, it's true. They do want to reorganize society. So when they say it's a conspiracy theory, no, it's exactly what people were saying with the Great Reset, Build Back Better. People were saying, oh, they're ushering in some kind of communist control system. Well, this is kind of. I'll get into the parts of it that are like communist, based on this manifesto at least, which is cited in this Wikipedia page for it, even though the manifesto doesn't even mention 15-minute cities. Manifesto is explicitly anti-capitalist, and it requires like socialist policies, including rent caps. And the objective is reducing CO2 release, which some people argue isn't something that we need to be that concerned about. So, some people argue, even though they say there's no argument. It has to do with climate change. So people are talking about climate lockdowns. That's what people are talking about. And they're saying like, that's a conspiracy theory, climate lockdowns. But that's literally what they're talking about. So I'm just here to tell you, they say it's a conspiracy theory. It's not really. They're talking about people working from home, not driving as much, not owning a car, reducing private ownership. And in this case, like they call it decommodification of housing, which means like people no longer own their property and their property can't go up in value. So they're talking about really straight communism in this manifesto, which again is cited as one of the inspirations for the 15-minute city. This is from Degrowth. It's a manifesto for the reorganization of the city after COVID-19. And this was about Barcelona. And apparently the manifesto got over 1,600 signatures. So apparently it's really influential. They say they want to reorganize mobility, renaturalization of the city, decommodification of housing, and degrowth. Oh my God. What they suggest in here for Barcelona, they're like, we need to stop having people come here as tourists. So here, I'll show you the goals. These are the goals. And again, this is cited as some inspiration for 15-minute cities. So we're going to decide, okay, is it a conspiracy theory? We demand the following measures be urgently undertaken in order to reorganization of mobility, drastic reduction of pollution, reappropriation of the street. First item says drastically and immediately reduce the use of the private car and motorbikes in the city with the goal of reducing pollution significantly and in the short term, keeping it at all times below the limits identified by the WHO and significantly reducing noise pollution. Focus urban mobility on the bike, offering each person state aid to buy a bike, which is like socialism, which we have in this country too. We have some socialist policies in this country too. I'm not saying it's even necessarily bad. But when people say it's like, it is. Oh, we'll buy everybody a bike. Okay. Maybe an electric bike. Organize in the shortest conceivable time a highly efficient and clean public transport network. Okay, that sounds good. Implement temporary measures to maintain physical distancing. This was during the pandemic. And then the entire city must be progressively pedestrianized, inverting the sidewalk concept. So basically, pedestrians should take over the streets, which in some places, in some cities, they're doing that some places. And it's good. I'm not even saying it sounds good. Sounds nice. What does it cost? Who's paying for it? Then there's a few more. Let me see. Plan high quality drinking water sources throughout the city. So there's a public drinking fountain within 100 meters of each other in order to drastically reduce and then eliminate the sale of bottled water. Then here's the decommodification of housing. It says to guarantee that every person without exclusion can have a home in the shortest conceivable time. Not only to limit, but also to reduce the current rental prices, currently inflated by the presence of investment funds. So they're saying, literally, the government has to force people to reduce their rent, which is, of course, anti-capitalist and basically communist. Drastically reduce the number of tourist apartments, returning them to the rental housing stock. And then a bunch of other stuff. Oh, and then degrowth. I mean, this is the most amazing part. Degrowth. So this is what they're talking about. Ask businesses if they're excited about degrowth. Encourage economic degrowth through drastic reduction of consumption. Eliminate cruise ships because they are the key to the massive influx of tourists, and they are a significant source of environmental pollution. So get rid of the tourists. Stimulate touristic degrowth. Reject the construction of new museums. That's a good one. Reject the construction of new museums for this inspiration for 15-minute cities. You know why you don't want to build museums? Oh, because tourists might, that's what tourists come to see. So let's not do that. So even if the locals like it too, in museums, right? It is literally crazy. Eliminate any investment to promote the Barcelona brand, strongly opposing the commodification of the city, of its inhabitants, of nature. Basically saying, we don't want anybody to come here anymore. They say, don't grow the airport, ban cruise ships because they drop off too many tourists who spend money in the city, right? So is it a conspiracy? I don't think it's a conspiracy theory. Not based on what they're saying. They're communists. Businesses, you can't force businesses to open places where they don't think they're going to be profitable. You know, so any libertarian would object. Businesses open where they think they can be profitable. If it happens to enhance the community, that's good. If you want a zone for where liquor stores can be and weed stores and stuff like that, yeah, that's fair. And if you want to improve more mixed use development, I think that's cool. I think mixed use is cool. I mean, some of this stuff I don't think it's bad as a guiding principle to say, oh, we should try to, but you can't force somebody to open up a grocery store. If you do, then what are the prices going to be? And you can't control rent. I mean, that's never going to happen. Well, some places here, there is rent control. But anyway, so that's 15-minute cities. I just want to show you, based on the research I did today on it, that they say it's a conspiracy theory, but actually, as a matter of fact, they are trying to change the way people live by fiat, by basically executive order. Some elites are deciding how you're going to live, right? So if that's a conspiracy theory, well, okay. Speaking of the other conspiracy theory we were covering, so that's it about 15-minute cities. I just want to make sure you guys knew what was going on with it. Speaking of the lab leak conspiracy theory, Stephen Colbert is still saying it's not true. I don't know how much of this I can play, because this is 2 minutes and 20 seconds on Twitter. And this stuff, this late night TV stuff, is super copyrighted. I'll play some of it. Let me see.
Another surprising development this weekend. The Department of Energy released a new report saying a lab leak is the most likely origin of the COVID-19 pandemic. Well, there it is. Chinese wet markets, you're off the hook. Let's order a round of pangolin poppers for the table. I love a nice plate of wet apps. Now, if you're can we get some civet fingers, please? Now, if, like me, you're wondering why the Department of Energy is the one making this judgment, it's because that agency oversees a network of U.S. national laboratories, some of which conduct advanced biological research. No. Bad energy department. No biolabs until you finish building your electric car charging stations. Stay in your lane. You don't see.
All right. So I don't know if he was pushing back on it that hard. He said, stay in your lane. So I think it's probably true. All right. I have some video. Speaking of conspiracy theories, the UFO conspiracy theory, or UFOs, they want us to know about them more. They do want us to know about them more. They're giving us more disclosure on UFOs. So this is an article in Politico's magazine, which says we have a real UFO problem and it's not balloons. Yeah, it's a guy talking about how he was in the military and they run into UFOs all the time. Not weather balloons, not hobby balloons, but real advanced flying saucers that are way more advanced than the stuff we have. And that's like a big deal, he says. So I want to show that to you. Speaking of another conspiracy theory, that the East Palestine, I have an update on that. Let me see if this video is good. There's going to be an ad, I think.
My name is Garrett Gonzalez, and I'm a clinical lab scientist resource. So I perform.
I lost everything I worked for.
Here.
You know, it was stolen from me, and there's not. You quickly learn that you don't have a voice in this. They don't care. They're going to hush it up. They're going to push it through. The mayor of East Palestine yesterday at the Trump circus that came to town, and I'm a Trump voter, right? I live in East Palestine. We didn't need that right now. But the mayor at this press conference says, hey, media, go away. We don't need you anymore. That's the last thing we need. We need this. I wrote an open letter to the mayor telling him how to take care of this situation because he's been non-existent. I know he gets a lot of positive press, and he was in a rough spot. I totally get it. Guy totally was not the guy for this mission.
My house is 900 feet from the actual derailment. It's been tough. We're not sleeping. We're getting sick with eye infections, respiratory headaches, sore throats. My grandkids have been traumatized. They're worried all the time about the train. It's always, we hear the train. And you don't realize how traumatic it was until you hear something out of the norm. When we hear a fire truck come out this way now, we're scared. We go running, we go to see. You don't realize it until you actually live in it and see and hear all of the noise and the smells and everything. It's tough.
I work in East Palestine at Roll Arena, outside with cars and water. And it's just been like this ever since the train blew up.
It's crazy. What does your voice really sound like, Wade? I know you can't tell us, but is it like that? You sound like Michael Jackson normally?
Lately, I sound like Mickey Mouse.
Yep.
But
he's got a deep, raspy voice normally.
Other than that, I just go and get tested and get checked out.
Well, what are they telling you?
My doctor says I most definitely have the chemicals in me. And,
but he has to find a toxologist to get properly.
They keep telling me to come up here, but nobody has nothing.
When you say nobody has anything, like there are no doctors in town to be able to help you?
No. That's what they tell me. I gotta make a phone call and schedule an appointment with somebody.
Okay.
But,
are you going to do that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Is it just affecting your voice, Wade, or are you feeling it in other areas of your body?
My chest hurts at nighttime. It feels like I'm drowning a little.
He wakes up every morning.
I have a hard
now.
time breathing. I cough up phlegm a lot. Yeah. But other than that, like.
And were you in pretty good health, Wade, up until now?
Yeah.
You're only a 40-year-old man. That's not very old.
No. But now I'm just waiting around.
There you go. So that's what's going on in East Palestine.
Science.
I know people are still interested in that. There's actually a quote from an EPA guy too, saying he wouldn't let his kids drink the water. I can play that for you if you want. People have been interested in East Palestine. I'll play you a clip of the EPA guy saying, don't drink the water.
Administrator, let me ask you real quick. Would you allow your children to touch the water? We've seen the rainbow sheen. We've seen, all these chemicals popping up from the bottom of the streams that these kids used to play in. Would you allow your kids anywhere close to these streams right now?
I would not. I'm a father of a 9-year-old. I think we have to all agree that we wish this accident didn't occur. The accident occurred, and as a result, some of our creeks and our streams have pollution in them.
Administrator, let me ask you real quick. Would you allow your children?
I think people who got exposed to it are going to be sick. People who got exposed to that toxic smoke are going to be sick. It should be gone by now. And then the water that's around the area that got polluted is still polluted. But eventually it won't be. I mean, eventually water goes through creeks and stuff. So I guess the pollution will wash away probably over time. But yeah, the people who breathed in those chemicals are definitely screwed up. And then they're talking about dioxins. That's the major thing I've heard that could be bad is dioxins that went into the soil. And like the EPA is refusing to test for dioxins, apparently. And apparently that might be the biggest threat. So that's what's going on in East Palestine. I have some other clips. I have Scott Adams. All right, let me close that. This guy quit the NFL, says don't take their injections. This guy, Byron Jones, just quit the NFL. I think he said mostly because of injuries and stuff, not from the shot, not from the vax. But he said, much has changed in 8 years. Today, I can't run or jump because of my injuries sustained playing this game. Do not take the pills they give you. Do not take the injections they give you. If you absolutely must, consult an outside doctor to learn the long-term implications. So that's a guy quitting the NFL. I don't know how long. The NFL, it's so brutal. People have such bad injuries, long-term disabilities, stuff from playing that game. I don't know. I don't know if people are going to play it forever. I mean, and then it is kind of rigged, right? It seems like it's rigged lately. Had the top two teams. Game went right to the end. I don't know. The guy that people wanted to win won. All right, let me play you guys. Let's see. Let me play you Scott Adams calling out the ADL. So he's still in it. We'll find out I don't know if he can get canceled any worse than he is. I don't think this will get him canceled worse, but he did call out the ADL and Scott Greenblatt. I guess Jonathan Greenblatt, who's the main guy at the ADL. Here you go. I'll play that.
All right. So Jonathan Greenblatt. Now remember, there's some people who are, race and ethnic grifters. Grifter being somebody who makes their money by bringing up race stuff. Jonathan Greenblatt, I believe, could you give me a fact check on this? Doesn't he get paid to complain about stuff like this? If you get paid to look for injustice, how much are you going to find? It's like somebody who's a ghost hunter. All right, I'm going to pay you to find ghosts. How many did you find? Well, are you paying me by the ghost? Yes, I am. I found quite a few. Ghosts. So Jonathan Greenblatt, who gets paid to find ghosts, he found some ghosts. Good job. And he would like to have me apologize for what I don't know. And then he would have me re-educated. Do you believe that I need to be re-educated? And what exactly would they tell me? Would the re-education say you should move closer to people who don't like you? Is that what the education would be? It's a good strategy in life if you know there's a demographic group that has been poisoned by the media to be primed not to like you. Should you move close to them? Well, I think the re-education would say that I should. So I'd like to know more about the re-education. If somebody can find that out, would it be teaching me that you should spend more time with the people who have been primed to dislike you and think you're the problem? Huh. Hartwig doesn't count as an education.
There you go.
Might be right about that.
There you go.
Right,
So that's him talking about Jonathan Greenblatt at the ADL. Yeah, and you can get yourself in trouble whenever you talk about Jewish people, for sure. But he already got himself. He's not going to get in as much trouble for that, I don't think. Jonathan Greenblatt. He is a race grifter. And the ADL are race grifters and ethnic grifters. So there's nothing wrong with saying that, I don't think. They're the ones that said it's okay to be white is a hate slogan. That's the ADL. So actually, it's like come full circle. The ADL are the ones who made it's okay to be white a hate slogan. And now they're criticizing Scott Adams, who made his commentary based on the results of a poll about whether people can say it's okay to be white. And now the ADL is critical. So it comes all the way around. You guys want to hear this guy? This guy's running for president, Vivek Ramaswamy. And DeSantis is about to run. His book came out today. So he's on like a tour that's basically the same as running for president. So he's pretty much in it. Scott Adams says he likes this guy, Vivek. Bill Ackman, billionaire, also says he's going to be the next president. And the other billionaire, Peter Thiel, also is behind this guy. He's like 37 years old. He went to Harvard. He went to Yale Law School. He was a biotech executive, and now he's a hedge fund manager. But he's anti-woke. So there are a number of strikes against him, as far as I'm concerned. I'm sick of people from elite universities running everything. And he's also probably a billionaire, a hedge fund manager. But he is anti-woke. And he is running for president. So it's worth listening to what he says. So last they checked him, his net worth was over $500 million. It might be over $1 billion now. And he's against ESG standards and he's against woke but he's part of the elite. That's the only thing. I mean, he is elite by definition.
Yeah, so I'll give you the definition that the other side gives, which makes it really easy to combat any criticism that you're gaslighting. Actually, they're the ones gaslighting in reverse. So here's what wokeism is. It is a philosophy that causes you to wake up to invisible societal injustices and use every means necessary to correct that injustice. That's what wokeism is about. That's what the other side would call it. That's what it is. So those invisible injustices are not based on money. They're based on race, gender, and sexual orientation. And I'll quote Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley, who said it herself. So these aren't my words. These are her words. We don't want any more black faces that don't want to be a black voice. We don't want any more brown faces that don't want to be a brown voice. I have brown skin, but I will tell you, I am not her description of what counts as a brown voice. This is a racist philosophy. It is a form of psychological slavery. What it says is you are nothing more than the genetically inherited characteristics you got on the day you were born. That is un-American. It is fundamentally anti-American. And what we need to revive is the set of ideals that bind us together across our genetically diverse inherited attributes. Without that commonality, without those commitments to common ideals, we're just a group of different looking higher mammals roaming a common geographic space, doing what our iPhones told us to do on a given day. That's what America looks like today to me, but it doesn't have to be that way. And that's why I'm running for president, to revive those basic ideals that set this nation into motion 250 years ago. That is how we dilute the woke agenda to irrelevance. We don't just use a hammer like I have for a long time yet now. We now have to combine that hammer with actually diluting it to irrelevance with a vision of national identity so powerful that it makes wokeism irrelevant in the mind of Americans.
Okay, so that's the guy who's he says he's anti-woke, he's anti-ESG, he's been in business. They call him the anti-woke CEO. And he has an investment fund where he invests in companies like oil companies, which places other companies don't invest in anymore because they don't score high enough on ESG scores, which has to do with sustainability goals. So he's against that. And he's been against that. He's been against that as an investor. Like I said, he was in biotech before. He's young. He's brown skinned. And I suggest that people are still freaking woke, you know, even Republicans are woke. You can see that in how they embrace trans people, as long as the trans people say the right thing, right? They're like, oh yeah, we like these trans people, or we accept these trans people as being the other gender or whatever they say they are, right? As long as they're Republicans, like Caitlyn Jenner, right? And they probably, people like Bill Ackman, who was a Democrat before, probably likes this guy because he's not white. And he's saying, because it's always helpful if somebody's saying people are racist, or I'm saying, if he's saying that calling people racist is wrong, it's more helpful to be saying that if you're not white, because people say white people are the ones who are the problem, right? So anyway, this is the guy. It's good to have him running, I guess. I don't think he has a real chance based on what I've seen him do so far, but maybe he does. I mean, Bill Ackman literally said he's going to be the next president. So that means he's got billionaire support, which is helpful, which Trump used really well. He had some billionaires behind him like Adelson. So Squiggles McJr. says, did this guy make his own money? Yeah, apparently. Apparently he had a biotech company. And now it's like he has an investment fund, which I assume would be the same as a hedge fund. So he's like a hedge fund manager, which is kind of an inherently evil business. But he says he does it ethically because he doesn't do it the way the woke people say to do it. He's anti-woke. And he's anti-woke in the workplace and stuff. So that's the guy, okay? He's running. So far, running for president, Trump, Haley. Oh, I had a clip. This is interesting. Hold on, check this out. So DeSantis is about to run. I think he has a really good chance. I think DeSantis has a really good chance because I think he appeals to moderates more than Trump. But Republicans seem to still support Trump. Check out this video. This is in Florida. Fox News on the day that DeSantis's book comes out and everybody's supposed to be talking about DeSantis. This is them looking for anybody who says they're going to vote for DeSantis. And pretty much everybody says they're going to vote for Trump. So this is on Fox. They're at a diner.
Hi, Lawrence. First off, Metro Diner here. I got a question for you. Ready? All right, 2024, who's pumped up for the election? All right, rapid fire. Who's your man, who's your woman?
My man, Donald Trump.
Donald Trump.
Donald Trump, Christy no. Christy no.
Who's your man?
Trump.
Or woman? Trump. Trump. A lot of Trump fans.
Trump and Nikki Haley.
And Nikki Haley.
Donald Trump and Nikki Haley.
All right, so far, a lot of Donald Trump. I see Governor DeSantis. What about President DeSantis?
I like it. I like it.
Who's your pick?
Oh gosh, I don't know. Trump or DeSantis? I'm either or.
So you're right in the middle.
Yes,
What you pumped up for?
I am super pumped.
I feel like we need a little bit of a break from election to election. It goes from one guy, Lawrence. First
So there you go.
Metro Dining.
So if that's an indication, yeah, people still like Trump. I should say I like Trump more. It's better for ratings. And it turns out like there's leaks coming out about Fox News, how a lot of the Fox News people didn't agree with Trump on the election stuff and didn't want to say anything because their viewers would be upset, including Hannity. That news came out today. Yeah, people don't want. I know that people do grift off the Trump thing. I'm suspicious. I'm suspicious of some people who said they like Trump when I was like, I don't think they really do. I think they're just saying that. But he's running. He's still popular. You can see. It's going to be tough for DeSantis. But I do think he has a really good chance. I wonder what the betting odds are. What? Predictit.org. Let's see what the betting odds are. And if you want to support the show, this is like your last chance. Go to buymeacoffee.com/lifttheveil and leave a coffee and a note, and I'll read it. For real. Yeah, check this out. DeSantis and Trump, as far as the betting odds go, which is different from polls, they're tied. Trump and DeSantis are tied. And you can't even bet on, it's crazy. It's so crazy. This is so crazy. Oh, there are more contracts. Okay. I was going to say. No, he's not even. You can't. This is really funny. It's got to make you feel bad being Vivek Ramaswamy. He's not even on the list. You can't even bet on him. And he's actually running for president. All these other people aren't running for president. And Vivek Ramaswamy, who is officially running for president, you can't even bet on him. That's how long the odds are. I would bet on, Tulsi Gabbard or something too. Can't bet on her. She won't run as a Republican, though, I don't think. She might run as an independent if she runs. But you can't even bet on Vivek, who I think has a better chance than a lot of the people on this list. I mean, he's acceptable. There's nothing like crazy terrible about him. He would be acceptable. He'd be better than Biden for sure. Like, as a matter of fact, actually, just having heard him, I'd probably vote for him. So that's Vivek. And I wouldn't vote for Nikki Haley or Donald Trump. So in that sense, but I'd prefer not to vote for somebody who went to Harvard and Yale, though. I do have a thing about that. It is nice that DeSantis isn't a billionaire and it is not elite. It is not from like elite circles. All right. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Let me see if I'll check to see if anybody dropped me a super chat. And it doesn't look like it. I'll check my coffees. If you could support the show, it's really helpful. And yeah, nothing over on there. Oh, thanks, Al Shizzle. Al Shizzle got 10 coffees. Are we approaching or in the singularity? Things seem to be escalating quickly. Thanks, Nate. Al Shizzle. Thanks, Al Shizzle. Thanks for getting 10 coffees and stepping up when nobody else wanted to. I appreciate it. All right. I don't have enough. I picked a title that was, well, maybe there are enough people tuned in. We can try to take some phone calls. I have some other video I can try to play. Yeah, you can call in if you want. I did get, thanks for those coffees. I really appreciate it. If you want to support the show, you still can by going to buymeacoffee.com/lifttheveil, or you can leave a super chat. Or if it's after the video is over, you can leave a super comment also. insert name here says DeSantis is backed by Soros. Yeah, I don't know. People say things about everybody. People talk shit about Tulsi Gabbard. They say she's CFR or whatever. People hate Tulsi Gabbard. So you can't support anybody. And then people were blaming like that guy, Barnes Law. He was blaming DeSantis supporters for James O'Keefe being gotten rid of. Hey, you're on the air.
Hey, Nathan, it's Down at Vices. How are you?
Hey, Down at Vices. What's going on? How are you doing?
Okay. I've been. I wish I could be contributing more lately. I'm getting ready to move, so like money's real tight for me.
No problem.
But yeah. You know, I just, I know you put a lot of work into what you're doing here. You know what I mean? And I got to support the grift. You know? Whatever.
I appreciate
whatever
it.
that
That's
is.
nice of you.
Yeah. But what is it? What is a grift anyway? Because I hear you say it. I'm not totally sure. I'm not totally hip to the term.
The grift. People are grifting if they're talking about stuff for people to give them donations and stuff on the internet, mostly. So if somebody's talking about something, usually you call them a grifter if they're race, like if you're race grifting, or if you're saying something that maybe you don't believe is true, just so people can donate to you. That's typically the term. That's typically how it's used, is if you're saying something that you don't believe, just so people send you money. That's typically how it's used. But now it's been broadened to just mean, grifting. Like if you pick a hot topic and talk about it, to grift off of the topic, etc.
Right, to get a lot of people to your channel,
you got
and
it.
Stuff like that.
Yeah, you got it.
Gotcha. Yeah. So I was thinking about you're talking about wanting to like what can you do to make your channel more popular and things like that. And I don't really know what might be helpful. I don't know. I know I think not just me, a lot of people love your simplicity, not to say that you're a simple person or anything like that, or you have a simple show, but I don't know, just that it's not a whole lot of bells and whistles and I don't know what I'm really trying to say, just that that there's a lot of people that have been supporting you for how you've ran the show for a really long time. You have a great format, and I don't know, but I see you trying like different things and the shorts and stuff like that, and I really don't know what the answer might be. I have no idea.
Yeah, and it's hard to know exactly how it all works. They might suppress my channel too. Like there are weird things. I know they treat my channel differently because my content is automatically demonetized and stuff. So I might have a disadvantage that I don't think about. So.
Yeah. No, I don't know. Just I don't know. Like so much is going on that it's like I don't know what to believe. I don't know what to focus on. Like with the UFOs that sort of it's just kind of weird how like all of a sudden it was like, UFOs are real and blah 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 blah, and we're shooting down UFOs, and then all of a sudden that just went away, and then something else got focused on.
Yeah.
And it's like I kind of think to myself, it's like, what else is going to be? What's next that's going to be normalized? That we've been focusing on and talking about for years and years.
Yeah.
It's like what's next?
Right. Yeah, good question.
And it's just like it's almost like just too much to handle, So
yeah, I know it's a lot. Well, it's hard figuring out exactly, but I appreciate it. Thanks for the support. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. I got things are going pretty good for me right now. I had a rough couple years, and I'm getting back on track. And life is hard, man. Life ain't easy,
Yeah, that's right. It's not.
Yeah. I think think Trump's going to win 2024. I really do.
He might.
Yeah, I just think on what he did in the time that he was in office, and like when 2015, like I remember when he first announced his presidency, I was like, he's going to win. This guy's going to win. And the guy was just they totally went after the guy from day one, tried to think of everything they could to get rid of him. And, you know, he's a fighter. And I think that his record is going to kind of just prove, you know, show people like, either you could have this or what I did, you know, when I was there. And I think he did a lot. You know?
Yeah. I think it'll get interesting though, because DeSantis can kind of go after. DeSantis ignored Fauci a lot more than Trump did. Like Trump was afraid to say anything negative about Fauci and the health department and stuff. So I feel like DeSantis, it'll definitely be an interesting contest. I don't think Trump has it locked up. I think people are, you know, that once it becomes a campaign and then eventually there will be debates, I think it'll be really interesting. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, but you got to think too. I mean, DeSantis wasn't in office at that point, so you know, I mean, Trump was in office, so I'm sure he had to do things a certain way.
Right,
you know?
right. No, I know. Yeah.
So, well, anyway, thanks for everything you do. And,
Thanks.
Yeah, I'm signing I'm getting keys to my new place tomorrow.
Cool.
And I'm looking forward to you know, many more shows.
Congratulations. That's great. All right. I'll keep trying to do it. Thanks, man.
Okay. All right, buddy.
All
Take
right.
care.
See ya. Yeah. Thank you for that. All right. Yeah, it's hard to know exactly what to cover from day to day. And today I didn't go with clickbait in the title. And fewer people tuned in. I thought it was an important issue, though, because I was told it was the biggest conspiracy theory. So I wanted to make sure I was talking about the biggest conspiracy theory, which is 15-minute cities. So we've covered it. Hey, you're on the air.
Hey, Nathan, how you doing?
Hey, Jim.
From Baltimore.
Hey, Jim, what's up?
How's the weather out there?
Raining still.
Yeah, I was going to talk to a person that was going to play on the roof before it rained, but when did it start raining? Because she's actually around your area.
Oh, really? Well, it's
Yeah.
been off and on all day, but definitely more this afternoon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, the weather, whatever. Can you give me a little reminder of what you did on the show?
Today I talked about 15-minute cities. I talked about the lab leak.
Oh yeah.
I talked
And,
a little bit. There was little Scott Adams, some other stuff.
yeah, the 15-minute cities, man. That whole manifesto is all freaking bizarre, man.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. It is crazy.
I mean, did you see the picture? There's a picture of somewhere in England where they have this street kind of cordoned off with a truck, like a van truck, and like all like these boxes.
Okay. To block people in or what?
I don't know. It looked like a generic setup. I don't know. I think it's probably fake, but I don't know.
Yeah. Well, we'll find out. I'll keep following what they're doing in different places. But apparently people are really up in arms about it, though. So whenever anybody tries to do anything, apparently there's a huge pushback. So it's going to be hard for them to implement.
Yeah, I saw a video of this child talking about it and like what the problems are with it. She's kind of like used as propaganda, but I think that's good propaganda because she's like talking reality about all that. They're like what they're trying to implement, and that's just, you know, like what she said kind of just hit home. I was just like, got goosebumps.
Well, it makes it seem like they want us living in like right on top of each other because they want us living, because these 15-minute cities work if the area is really dense and there's a lot of people there, to service all the businesses and stuff. So it's like they want us living right on top of each other and not have cars or mobility.
I know.
They don't want us to travel. They want us to work from home, so it's not a crazy conspiracy. Like they do. They want us living right on top of each other in little cubes and and working from home and not driving and not traveling and not going on vacation because that's bad for the environment. And then we never leave our 15-minute area.
Dude, yeah, that is science fiction and a half and 1,000. I don't know, man. It is so weird. I mean, like, how they're gonna implement that and where is a mystery.
Yeah, we'll see. Apparently they have some version of it. It's not like set in stone exactly what it means. It's just like a concept. So apparently they have some version of it in Seattle, apparently in Portland. Apparently they have some version of it, but it just means that there's stuff in your neighborhood. And so I don't know.
So it's an option, right? Or something
I don't
like
know.
that.
I don't know.
It's like so many intricate like things about it that they like talk about it, kind of like like the fervor of Klaus Schwab and COVID-19 and cyber pandemic and all that bullshit BS.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, man. Feeling good, man. I had 5,000 milligrams of kratom, and I'm smoking some orange soda. If you ever find that strain, that is so good. It's called orange soda.
Orange soda. Okay. I'll look for it.
It's so fucking good.
Okay.
And excuse my language. But anyway, have a good night and have a good call.
Thanks,
have a good
Sam.
call.
Thanks.
All right, see ya.
See ya. He gives me my weed recommendations. Orange soda. Today I'm smoking, I don't know. I go between like Skywalker OG or OG hybrids, or wedding cake is good too. So I just smoke the vapor cartridges. You guys see me do it during the show. It's legal here, but it has gotten more expensive since it got legal, and they still burn down crops too. So I think that might be it. But we have fewer people tuned in, so we might not have enough people to call in. I didn't even post the phone number though. I appreciate the phone calls. Let me see. Somebody else said they dropped me a coffee. Let me check. Thanks, people who support the show. Rip the Veil. Thanks, Rip the Veil, for who got a coffee and said, great show. Appreciate it. Hopefully we gave important information today. That's all. I wanted to know about 15-minute cities. I did some research. I told you about it. So now you know. You know about Vivek Ramaswamy, who's running for president. I gave you some background on him. I did some research on him. So I would know about him. We're going to learn about Ron DeSantis. We think Tulsi Gabbard might run for president too. And I would wager on her just because I like Tulsi. We learned about AI voice stuff today. So you guys feel like you got some education? All right. Thanks everybody for tuning into the show. I guess that's it. We'll tune out. I think we got all our phone calls in, and we'll see you tomorrow night, hopefully 5 p.m. Like the video. If you want to help it in the algorithm, you could comment on the video. I should probably change the name before I post the podcast. And that's it. All right. So we'll see you at the next one. For now, that's what it is.